The dollar is dying. The dollar is dying. Well, it's seemingly dying at least. And what does that mean for the rest of the markets? Rallying to the heavens and beyond. But for Bitcoin, more or less stagnant. So that is the focus of today, of course, what essentially that means for Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at a lot of corollary markets as well and what to kind of expect over the next, I would say, next 10 days, maybe 15 days as well. Anyways, other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a lovely Thursday. It's a lovely Thursday over here in Finland, and it's bright and sunny outside as well. So Finnish people might even smile for once in their lives. And before we get into it, I do want to let you know that there's still a promotion going on where you can get the Jewel Light for free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below. And then there's also a link to the Apex Decentralized Exchange, which you may or may not be interested in. It will also award you 5% off your trading fees. All right, sweet. Let's jump right into it, starting off with the continuation of the dollar analysis that we've been having realistically for the past, it seems like for the past 6 months now. It's slowly coming to fruition here, a little bit faster than what I did think as well, but that's all good in the hood as far as I'm concerned. And in this case, we do have a continuation move, it looks like, or a resolution move off of the off of the CPI reads coming out yesterday. As CPI continues to go down and down, which is very interesting because what happened to the sticky inflation? What happened to all of that? What happened to all of that? What happened to macro? I don't know. I can't explain it, but I don't need to explain it because I'm not a fucking macro analyst. I'm a technical analyst and more or less quantitative analyst at this point. But looking at the dollar, we did see several signals yesterday that did suggest that downside, or really over the past couple of weeks, that downside was the name of the game. That was coming off the back of hidden bearish evidence here on the weekly RSI. Also, the weekly Jewel getting a fresh downside curvature as of last week, actually about a couple weeks ago, supported by DMI, I should add here as well. And even the weekly silver cross, that yellow 21 exponential average cross to the downside of the green 55, alongside just, a pair of lower highs right there. And in this case, that would be marking off what does appear to be a descending triangle. Technically speaking, not necessarily resolved just yet. We want to see the weekly close, for full-on confirmation, which will be coming in tomorrow for Friday. But assuming that Dixie does close basically anywhere below about 101, that would do it for me. Very likely next move, I don't know about next move, or sorry, the time frame of the next move is what I'm trying to say as I search my English words. Not that I know any other fucking languages, but probably over the next month or two, something like that. Dixie very likely can continue to the downside. There is an implied target based off of the descending triangle, which would be pointed somewhere down closer to about 97 and a quarter, with likely an area of interest along the way at about 98 and a quarter. So somewhere down around in this blue box, I'll put it right here. Again, assuming that tomorrow does confirm the move. Until then, technically speaking, these sort of formations sometimes, or a lot of the time, get filled out a lot more before they do get resolved. So I would express a little bit of reservation as far as like the timing of this. But assuming that does close below and confirm that move, then yeah, I suppose over the next month or two, be looking for somewhere down around there. But let's say that Dixie does close back above about 101 and a quarter, then perhaps still maybe one more rally attempt before the actual dying swan move to the downside there. So this move would also kind of be in alignment with that white 200 moving average, and I believe the monthly 55 is in that vicinity as well. Indeed it is. So this is all coming within the context of extreme lows on volatility and now starting to expand from those extreme lows. So I would say that this is this move does look like it could very well be it. I could very well be wrong about bounce first off the lower boundary and then resolve. It's looking like it's a resolve here, especially with the weekly RSI getting back into that bearish control zone as well. Anyways, yes, so moving on now. I think the best way to do Bitcoin actually is to not speak about these charts here. They're not that helpful, but to go over the HPDR ranges on the 4-hour time frame. It's still the same thing as before, looking at the top side of the range at about 31. It's like 31,200 now versus the bottom side at about 25.6, 25.5 region, with the average coming in right around 30,400. So essentially, as long as Bitcoin's below 30,400, it does have a little bit of short-term weakness. And I do still think that these LARP lines over here might very well play out, meaning that Bitcoin next move to the downside, like the bottom of the range. I wouldn't necessarily call it a resolution to the bottom of the range for reasons that we'll speak about soon enough. And I still do look at Bitcoin as very likely to continue on with this rally to the upside overall, but does it get another try somewhere down around here? Yeah, I don't think that would be super crazy to be looking at, especially seeing as today is Thursday, and Thursday is typically the most down day for Bitcoin. So it'd be a great day to have, one of these quick moves. I'll draw another LARP line that's more relevant to like today, where we get something like that, and then try for a move to the upside, probably into next week. Maybe starting over the weekend, but probably into next week if I had to guess. Now, of course, if Bitcoin were to break below 29,550 or 29.6, depending upon your time frame, I would be looking for another $1,000 slide towards 28.5. But until then, this area I would probably be looking for another bounce off of. And again, a resolution above 31.1, 31.2 region. Again, depending upon your time frame, likely begets that next major drive to the upside, somewhere between 32.5 to 33. Stop there. Probably continuation later on. Looking at Stillcast Momentum, I do want to see kind of where we're positioned as of right now. Daily Stillcast Momentum will be carrying on to the downside below 31,450. It's actually on CME. Let's go back to spot price action, because I do remember on the daily, we do have this, and this was kind of the key, I think, for yesterday's analysis. But we do still have this trendline regression coming in from the last few major lows this year. The March lows, the April lows, the May lows, the June lows, basically every month almost, or at least of the recent times. So I do suspect that we do see the daily stochastic come somewhere down around there, and that's at the point where I'd probably be looking for Bitcoin to pick it up and put in that higher low and likely carry on with the rally. But for right now, daily Stillcast Momentum on spot price action will remain to the downside below 30,450. 12-hour time frame is actually going to be up above 30,200. Doesn't look super strong there, but it is what it is. 6-hour time frame is going to be showing downside pressure below 30,600. Again, another trendline regression coming in from these last few highs here, going back to late June. Going on to the 4-hour time frame. Let me just get rid of these again. Kind of the same trend line there too. Downside pressure below 30,800, and hourly is going to be showing flippy floppy action at 30,300. It is in the critical zone right here, to be fair, but we can see most of the other time frames, on the downside right there. So short-term downside pressure. Does that give the impetus for another retest of the bottom side of the range? Somewhere around there is fair game, but I'd probably be looking for a bounce based upon that. Still long term, I do look at Bitcoin for several other setups as more likely to try again to the upside. I can bring back the 5-day setup over here. This is the 5 days volatility versus Stillcast Momentum setup. Again, 5-day volatility getting down towards extreme lows, and then expanding from those extreme lows has led to an average move about 40% over the course of a little over a month on average. And the direction of the stochastic also has had a high correlation with the direction of that move. I mean, we've already seen this move get a pretty nice, a pretty nice return on it. Almost 25% from that last low where it started to bounce off this trend line right here. But again, not necessarily super close to the average just yet. Not even close to the bottom end of the first standard deviation, which would be at around mid 30s, so 35%. So, longer term, I think that this rally still has some juice to go. The reason why I do say that is because on average, we do see that these sort of setups take a little over a month. And right now, not right now, but tomorrow will mark day number 25. So getting close to a month there, but certainly not over a month. And so that's why I do say, about 10 days from tomorrow, maybe 15 days, again, depending upon the variance within these reads, is probably when I'd be looking for that move to occur, meaning that, in the short term, can Bitcoin play out a bit of a correction? Yeah, sure, no problem. But still over the next 10, 15 days, I'd still be looking at upside pressure. And we do see that the 5-day stochastic oscillator will remain with upside pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 26,350 for the time being. Anyways, what I wanted to get into now is something a bit different, something that I haven't spoken about on this channel for a very long time now, actually. But we can go over gold. People typically look at Bitcoin and gold as likely to play together. And a similar chart here had the silver cross back on in January. It's a little bit faster than Bitcoin, to be fair. This is on the weekly, by the way. Higher low, and bouncing, quite well based off of yesterday's price action. And I believe most of that move, certainly most of that move was done yesterday, coming off the back of the CPI read. So, gold rallying up here. Again, another, generally good thing for Bitcoin is the word that I'm looking for. Man, my speech patterns are just fucked today. I got a good night's sleep, but it's one of those nights where I woke up weirdly, I guess, within my sleep cycle. So I just feel weird, I guess. Anyways, Yeah, also gonna be printing another, actually 3 drives of hidden bullish evidence come off this last low, and the weekly jewel seemingly getting ready to posture back onto the upside, supported by DMI there. So, I do look at this one as very likely to try back up towards, north of 2,000, probably even break out from these regions as well, looking at the monthly. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? Just kind of bodes well for the long term. Of course, you can also look at NASDAQ or SPY for that matter. And again, continuation of the rally. Yesterday, we were looking at, hey, this looks like another higher low. Hidden bullish evidence on it as well. What do you fucking know? Another higher low and continuing upwards and onwards. Got a little bit of a, what is it called? Ascending triangle right here. So we could make maybe a measure move off of this one. Let's just see what it'd be kind of pointed towards. And what do you know? It's right around the edge of my blue box. My blue box territory, 15,800, somewhere between like 15,800 to 16,100. Something like that. So, traditional market continuing on with the rally. SPY, same shit here too. A little bit weaker compared to text, but I expect that this rally still has, another leg, or it looks quite obvious that it has another leg. And other than that, does Bitcoin join at some point in the general market strength? Probably yes. But I do suspect that in the short term, we do see a pullback probably first. Somewhere down to like low 30s, maybe mid 20s, or sorry, not mid 20s, mid 29s, 29.5 or so. Somewhere between like 30 to 29.5 is fair game in the short term. But ultimately, I expect Bitcoin's going to be joining. So I'm not super married to the ideas on the short term. I'm more married to the ideas on the higher term timeframes in this case. And I think that's probably a good place to be leaving off on this particular video. 11 minutes into it. That's good enough. I'll be signing off on that note. As always, wish you the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Friday.